Hello, today we are going to talk about mass media and how it interacts with politics. One of your assignments in this will be to look at a video of Fox News and MSNBC critiquing and reporting on a Michelle Obama speech. So that's what's up in this one. Does media shape our politics, or do politics shape the media, and how has our media changed throughout history? This is a very short one. So mass media is television, radio, newspapers, magazines, the internet, and other means of popular communication. During the last election cycle, Snapchat even got in on it, and of course Twitter, we keep talking about in class. So it's becoming more mainstream, more high-tech. So high-tech politics are politics in which the behavior of citizens and policymakers and the political agenda itself are increasingly being shaped by technology. One of the things that Donald Trump does really heavily is he uses Twitter to get out his message and to kind of gauge the American public in, a less formal way than traditional polling or media usage. Barack Obama was very good at using the newer forms of media to his advantage as well. So your first flipped assignment is going to be to read this very short article that I'm attaching called Mass Media and Politics. It's just an overview. There are 5 sections in it, and for each section you're going to create a picture or a visual representation of what that section is about, and then just in a sentence how it changed the way that Americans got the news. So it's more of a history article. So this is a chart of newspaper sales between 1960 and 2004, and the trend since 2004 over the past 13 years, has continued to decrease drastically. People just don't read physical newspapers anymore. Now, having said that, more and more people are increasingly getting their news from newspapers online and from other sources online as well. One place that people are turning to increasingly, as far as internet-based media goes, is podcasts. There are 2 pretty good podcasts, if you feel like being politically nerdy, that are pretty bipartisan, though you can find partisan ones if you want to. The Pollsters is a pretty dense podcast. They have a conservative and a liberal commentator, and they just talk about policy and how the wheels of government get turned. What's the other one? Whistle Stop is the other one. That's more of the history of politics. It's also really good. So those are my suggestions, but again, if you feel like being politically nerdy, just download a podcast onto your phone or something and listen to it when you drive. It's a good way to get caught up, and it's more mainstream these days. The kids are really into it. I don't know. But this is a chart of media preference by age. Television is preferred by older people. The internet is obviously preferred by younger people. Print is not really preferred by anyone, but older people at the most. Radio, not very well respected. And then there is, of course, the other and the no opinion option in the Gallup poll. You want to have those options in any good poll, by the way, just in case people don't know what you're talking about, or so they don't feel like they have to lie and say that they get news from television. If you don't get news, then you've got these other options. So this is an example of a good poll. So television can affect what people think is important. The media influence and the criteria by which the public evaluates public leaders is very contingent upon how the media portrays things. Now, as television news becomes more polarized, it is increasingly true that it's not necessarily that media influences what people think. What is more important almost is what the viewers already come to the television believing, and media has become a source to just kind of reinforce those pre-existing ideas. Now again, having said that, media can do a lot of kind of subconscious cues in how they talk about something, and you'll see that in the analysis of a speech by Michelle Obama. There are ways to subtly praise or to subtly critique or to blatantly praise or critique that the media will do. The more that they talk about certain topics influences how we think about them. Something that the media does sometimes when there's a lull in like readership or viewership is they'll start talking increasingly about crime because that's exciting and people like are scared of it and therefore they watch the news for it. Even if the crime rate hasn't necessarily gone up, if the media talks about it more and more and more, people tend to think that it's more dangerous and that they need to watch the news more so that they know what the threats are. So it's kind of a two-way street. Some policies, obviously, by the media can be made to look more important than others, while others can be made to look less important. It all depends on their coverage. Something that the media did a lot last year during the campaign was that they covered Donald Trump a lot more than the other Republican candidates because he was more amusing. He said crazy things and he was kind of outlandish, especially compared to the others. And that, I think, had, obviously, an impact on, to an extent, the election, but definitely what people thought about the Republican candidates. The media has an agenda-setting function. The issues that attract the serious attention of public officials and other people actively involved in politics at the time, that is set by the media's policy agenda. Policy entrepreneurs are people who invest their political capital in an issue. Political capital is like social capital, is how much clout you have in the political arena instead of the social arena. Policy entrepreneurs depend on good images and goodwill for whatever the policy is that they want to support. A good example of that would be when Obama was trying to get a lot of attention on the ACA. And so he was trying to do commercials and bits that were funny, that were informative, that were positive, using his political capital as the president to get that across. By the way, you guys should watch Zach Galifianakis's Between Two Ferns with Barack Obama plugging the ACA. It's one of the more worthwhile things that he did. It's very amusing, and it's a good example of policy entrepreneurship. So last week we talked about party polarization. So the question here is the media polarizing? The answer is obviously yes, but the real question is what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is media polarized because it helps get them viewers, or is it polarized because viewers flock to the media that they assume fits their opinions and goals, and they shape the media themselves? So what I'm going to have you all do is watch the video that is attached to this lecture, comparing the Michelle Obama speech from 2012 and how Fox treats it and how MSNBC sees it or treats it. So that's what you'll be analyzing in your second flipped assignment. Good luck. I will see you all tomorrow.